Hi, and welcome everybody to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. It's Wednesday, April the 5th, and I'm here with Mr. Jesse Shule of jesseshule.com. I'm Ross Benjamin of rbwins.com, and today we're going to have two NBA games we're going to be discussing with you and giving you free picks in each one of those contests. But before we get going, let's say hello to Mr. Shule, the cool Jesse Shule. How are you, Jesse?
I'm feeling pretty good, Ross. I think last night when me and you and Sean were doing a show, I said I got two baseball plays, and if I win them both, it'll be a 70% start to the baseball season, which isn't quite the 90% start we got off to last year, but 70% is good enough for the girls I go with, Ross, you know. So I did hit them both yesterday, 7-3 so far in Major League Baseball, and that's the focus right now. So I'm happy about that.
Well, I know one thing other than my wife now, throughout the course of my life, I'm a hell of a lot better sports handicapper than I am picking girls. So in any event, we move on to the subject matter at hand. Jesse's going to be taking a look at the Washington Wizards at the Atlanta Hawks game, and I'm going to be looking at the Memphis and New Orleans game. You know, Jesse, again, we saw a lot of big double-digit numbers in the NBA last night, which we'll see a plethora of until the end of the regular season, which is not far away. Most teams have anywhere from 4 to 5 games left in the regular season, but at this particular moment in time, you really have to tread lightly, or you have to be a little more careful because you have to decipher through who really cares, who wants to play. What team is resting a lot of their key personnel, or what they like to call, load management? I like to have load management. What about you? It's, you know.
Last time I checked, Ross, there's no load management for sports handicappers.
No,
It's
there's not.
Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
working every
yeah,
day.
exactly right. So in any event, just be careful out there, folks, with the end of the NBA regular season winding down for specifically those reasons. And also, Major League Baseball. Here's the thing with me with Major League Baseball. I'm a numbers guy, as you well know, Jesse. And what I say by that is, I put a major emphasis on the starting pitchers in each matchup. No two ways about it. But above and beyond that, I don't care who's in the lineup and who's not in the lineup. The same thing in football and basketball. I don't care who's on both sides of the ball because it's all incorporated into the line. Injuries, weather, whatever case you may have. The only thing as us as handicappers that we get caught and are vulnerable to is like the NBA right now. They just haven't been real transparent and the league, I blame for that too, been real transparent in telling you who may play or who may not play. They leave the questionable tab on this load management thing, and sometimes it works for us and sometimes it works against us. But at the end of the day in baseball, it's the beginning of the season. There's no rest management at this point, but I still need numbers. And like I said on yesterday's show, I need numbers to beat a number. I'm data driven, but I don't know how you feel in that regard. But I got a feeling. But share with us your thoughts in that regard.
Well, I don't consider myself a numbers guy, so to
Yeah.
speak, but I certainly pay attention to the numbers, and I want to know what the numbers are, what story the numbers are going to tell. But I want to be the kind of guy that sits back and takes in all the stories. You got the situational, motivational. You got the numbers. You got your gut. You got, I don't want to leave any stone unturned, Ross.
And I get that.
Every angle that you can possibly. It takes me 4, 5, 6 hours sometimes to come up with my picks for the day, and
Well,
then you start with the rest of the work. So,
yes, yes,
I like to think that I go over it all.
yeah. Well, 4, 5, 6 hours is pretty much a norm for me. At this time of year, I want to be honest, probably around 4 hours on the lower end of that. But during football, when we have multiple major sports going on, like in October and November, when you have the NBA just beginning, college basketball just beginning, the NHL just beginning, and NFL and college football going on at the same time. Yes, that daily hours you put into your handicapping certainly expands, right? But at the end of the day, it's with baseball, to me right now, there's just not a lot of data for me to go on. So I start slow. I still, to this point, have only given out one baseball play so far. Went 1-2 in the NBA last night, Jesse. I thought I had a 2 in one day. I went to bed late last night, Eastern time, and Golden State was losing by 10 at the half, and they were laying 8, and I was fading them against Oklahoma City, and they came back and won the game by 11. So goes it at the final during the stretch of the final NBA regular season. Anyway, Jesse, tell the folks a little before you get to your free pick. Tell the folks exactly where you want them to find you, and I'm assuming that's jesseshule.com, and what you may have coming up today, tomorrow, next week, or in the future.
All right. Well, right now my focus is on Major League Baseball because the season just started. I think there's the best opportunity for me to make money is with the early lines and bookmakers making mistakes and people being behind the numbers. So that's what I'm focused on. Of course, I'll be loving the NBA playoffs when that starts. NHL playoffs. I'm currently the #1 NHL handicapper at Picks and Parlays. And you can find me at Jesse Shule on Twitter, at Jesse Shule Picks on YouTube, and you can get my picks at jesseshule.com.
There you have it, Jesse Shule at jesseshule.com. The guy is a proven winner. Since he's been working with us here on this channel, I follow him, his picks on a daily basis. And, we all check each other out because we're all ultra competitive. But by the same token, we also, as I can speak for the guys on this channel when I say this, we also pull for each other. Because in this business, the more good handicappers there are, the better it will be, Jesse. The bottom line is we're trying to overcome a precedent by some of the scam artists that were around for many years in this business. And, since recent days where everything is documented on the internet and guys can't lie anymore. And these phone salesmen now are really struggling because people, if they don't recognize a number now, they don't pick it up, so that's just the nature of the game. And you know what? The more we can get those kind of individuals out of the picture, the better off it is, because if we can get this industry down to where it's professional sports handicappers and not professional salesmen using the sports betting industry as a vehicle for them to make money, and screw people out of money and scam people, the better we'll all be for that. So in any event, Jesse, Washington at Atlanta. Right now, the Atlanta Hawks are 11-point favorite, and the total is 233.5. So Washington, the last I checked yesterday, they needed to win out and needed a lot of help to even get into a playoff position. That's not going to happen.
Forget about it.
Yeah, forget
they're
about
not,
it.
They're not going anywhere. They're probably worried about improving their draft position. I think. I think the big question here is Trae Young going to play? He didn't play last night because of an illness. I don't know. They haven't been specific whether it's stomach flu or a cold or whatever it is. I would assume that he's getting the best treatment, fluids. This is a big game for Atlanta. I mean, it's a nothing game for the Wizards, which is probably why they've been resting Beal, Kuzma, and Porzingis. I mean, they're all out with various injuries, but let's face it, are they really hurt, or are they just, throwing in the towel? And then you got Monte Morris, another starter. So that's potentially 4 starters that could be out for Washington. I mean, Washington's not going to provide a lot of pushback here. The Hawks just won by double digits in Chicago without Trae Young. I think Trae Young's going to play. I think the line certainly suggests that Trae Young's not going to play.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Wouldn't you think that with the line being 11? Yeah, okay.
And I like the Hawks minus the 11. But I'll tell you what, I almost like it more if Trae Young's sick and can't play, and that line comes down to like 7, 8, 6.5. I just don't think that Washington gives a rat's ass about this game.
And you could make a strong case based on what you just said with the players out that even without Trae Young, Atlanta's the more talented team.
Yeah, I mean, they still have 3-4 starters, starters in the lineup, where
Right.
Washington's their only starter would be Gafford, who's
Yeah.
not really a starter.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, this is a big game for the Hawks too. They need this win. They risk playing on the road in the play-in instead of, as opposed to at home. And that's what's at stake for the Atlanta Hawks. It should be a double-digit win for Atlanta, regardless of who plays. I like it at -11. I like it even more if Trae Young sits and the line comes down.
Very good. So there you have it. Jesse is telling you, Lady 11th with Atlanta, and he's also telling you, and I agree with him, that if this line is at 11, it surely indicates that Trae Young will play. However, if for whatever reason, if he does not play, and this line comes down to 7.5, 8, 8.5, 9, whatever in that area, he still likes the Atlanta Hawks because, like he alluded to, Washington has several key personnel out, whether it be because they just shut them down and they know they don't have a chance of making the playoffs and risking further injury, or whatever the case may be. He likes the Atlanta Hawks here in a game that means a lot to them and virtually nothing to Washington. So there you have it, Atlanta -11 over Washington from Jesse Shula. I'm going to take a look at Memphis and New Orleans. This game tips at 8:10 p.m. Eastern Time. New Orleans is a 5.5-point favorite, and the total in this game is 228.5. And the total is where I'm going to put my focus on. For those of you who've been following me, know that I do very well with basketball totals, which lends me to the fact that why did I put out three straight bets last night in the NBA? I don't know, folks, because that was the best value. Obviously, I went 1 and 2. I can get second guess to the cows come home, but I don't second guess anymore because second guesses do nothing good for your mental state of mind. As a matter of fact, let's look at this. Both teams are playing with no rest. And New Orleans has gone 4-0 to the under this year when the total's 228 or greater, and they're playing an opponent with no rest like Memphis will be. Also, Memphis is 4-1 to the under in their last 5 when a total, again, is 228 or greater, same parameter, when they're playing a team with no rest. So, and those games went under the total by an average of 11.1 points per game. And New Orleans, their last 13 games, when there's been a total of 228 or greater, again, there's that magic number, 228, they've gone under the total in their last 13 games whenever the total was 228 or greater. The average total in those games, 233.2. The average combined score in those 13 contests, a shade under 217 points per game. There you have it. I need numbers to beat a number. I can't emphasize that enough when it comes to me personally. Memphis also 9-1 to the under in their last 10 on the road whenever there's a total of 230 or greater. New Orleans, 3 meetings versus Memphis this year. They have not shot the ball well against them. As a matter of fact, the Pelicans only averaged 108 points per game and shot a shade under 42% in their 3 meetings versus Memphis this year. I don't know, Jesse, I'm going to take a shot here on Memphis and New Orleans to go under the total of 228.5.
I like it, Ross. We've seen some lower scoring games of late. The playoffs are around the corner. It's time to crank things up on defense. I'm really disappointed with the Pelicans losing last night, though.
Myself as well, buddy. I had them as well last night.
That I seriously considered playing the Pelicans, and then I seriously considered coming back with them tonight after they lost.
Right.
But I didn't like the line. It seemed like a heavy line to lay with the team that just laid an egg last night.
Be honest with you, when those types of situations occur, Jesse, and again, you know, folks, we're not always going to agree with our philosophy, but we respect each other's philosophy, and we respect each other's philosophy, not only me and Jesse, but everybody else on this channel. And again, it starts with me. If I don't think you have solid philosophies when it comes to sports betting, you're not going to be on this channel. So there you go. And my philosophy is when I see the so-called heavy line, it makes me lean toward that team that we think the line might be too heavy on. In this case, New Orleans, it's like you look at this. I was surprised myself, Jesse. You know, you look at how New Orleans played last night as a 4-point favorite. They lose 121 to 103. against a Sacramento team that just clinched the playoffs, playoff spot for the first time in umpteen years, broke the NBA's longest playoff drought. And I would have thought that they would have had the mental edge last night against Sacramento, but that wasn't the case. And quite frankly, the Sacramento won that game, and it was a wire-to-wire job. So I was way off on that one. One thing you'll find out with us, folks, is we're very transparent. We beat on our chest when we win, but we also own up when we lose. And again, the theme with this podcast that you listen to, the Winner's Circle podcast on this channel, is we hope not only we can give you as many free pick winners as we can, which we've done a lot of that over the last few weeks, but we also want to make you a smarter sports bettor today than you were yesterday. You've heard that in the past from me several times, and you'll continue to hear that in the future, because some people lose concept of that. They want a 2-minute video. They want Jesse's pick in 30 seconds, my pick in 30 seconds, and see ya. Sorry, we're not that type of channel. Okay, this is a podcast. It's not a free pick video. In any event, Jesse, I wish you nothing but the best of luck today, and you'll be back with us. I know you'll be back with us at least one more time this week. I don't recall the day. If you do, please share that with the audience. But in any event, for Jesse Schul and Ross Benjamin, we like to wish each and every one of you all the very best, folks. Take care, and God bless.